G'day ladies and gentlemen, my name's Adam Kelly and I am from Smart Touring Systems, and before we get going I just want to put something into perspective. Jace Andrews, who you just watched, he said he's been doing this for 17 years. I've been doing this for about 17 months, and this is probably the first time I've done any public speaking in any kind of crowd like this. I think my last biggest crowd was about 5 people. So bear with me and I'll try and fumble my way through this and try and keep you guys entertained. So, Smart Touring Systems, before we get into this four-wheel drive demonstration, I think it's really important I'll tell you how I ended up here, because this is not something I thought I'd ever be doing right now, today, and I've got a little bit of a presentation to show you guys. So, it started out in the back shed at home, building brackets for roof racks, and that bracket was called the Quick Fit bracket, and it didn't seem like a big thing at the time, but it just allowed you to add and remove roof rack accessories toollessly, and I always knew I really wanted Smart Touring Systems to be more than just a little accessory brand, and that's how I've ended up here. And I'm a bit nervous, sorry guys. And we've got an ad going on the background now too. So me and my beautiful wife Megan have always been into touring and camping, and in 2018 we really took off on what was our first proper trip. 3 months and covering around 8,000 kilometres of dirt roads, really lit the fire for us about where we wanted to take the brand. I think deep down I knew I didn't want to just do my day-to-day job, which I'm a carpenter by trade, and I really want to tell this story because we are just everyday people, wife and kids, 2 beautiful kids, carpenter, and now look at what happened here. It's just freaking me out, and as you can tell in my voice probably. So that first trip really did kick it off. Fast forward to 2022 and we took off on another 6-month trip. This time just me, the wife and the kids. The first trip was with other people, and it really was an amazing experience and a life-changing one. That's when we decided to launch Smart Touring Systems YouTube channel, and we really documented that trip and tried to make something really nice to watch, but also information-based. And then obviously something for us to look back on as well. That's the most important part of it. Seems these days every second person you talk to started up a YouTube channel traveling, and we're not having a go at anyone. I'm an advocate for it. If you ever think you want to do it, the best thing you can do is just start. The hardest part is starting and putting yourself out there, and it's usually not a big crowd like this. I don't know anyone in the crowd. It's those 5 people at home that you hold so close to your heart, you really worry about what they say. So we pushed all that aside and we started Smart Touring Systems YouTube channel, headed off on that trip up through central Queensland to Mataranka, Litchfield National Park, Kakadu, out to Darwin, and then out to Arnhem Land. And the experience my family and my 2 young daughters had out there, we will never ever be able to replicate that, I don't think. And it really put into perspective what life's all about. Life is not about going to work and coming home every day. There's bloody well more to it. And we nearly didn't come back from Arnhem Land or Nhulunbuy especially. We loved it out there. And the experience we had out there we're very thankful for, because we had friends that took us into a local community, and we really saw the land for what it was for. So after that, we headed across the Gibb River Road and took a caravan up to Mitchell Falls, which everyone said, do not do that. And we did it anyway, and we got through it, but it was bloody hard work. But you know, touring and travelling Australia is about having those challenges and getting through them, and getting to the end of the day and having a beer, obviously getting there safely without breaking things, and hopefully when James comes out here today, we don't break the Jeep and the Conqueror, but we'll see how we go. So we finished the Gibb River Road, which if you're ever thinking about doing that, just do it. Like, that was a real highlight in some of the travels we've done, and I can honestly say we've covered most of the top end of Australia, you know, the tip of Australia, Cape York, the Santa, out to Uluru, across the Gibb, across the Savannah Way. We have been around a little bit, continued over to continued over to Broome and up to Cape Leveque. Cape Leveque is like a little Cape York. It was unbelievable. The whole west coast is just so sparse. On the east coast, every 20 minutes you'll hit a town. Seemed like in the WA coast, it was every 2 to 3 hours you hit a town, and that's what makes the place so bloody special in my eyes. By the time we got down to Perth, it really pulled us back down to earth and drove into a city and just went, oh, that's you know, after the adventure we had, that's not what we were really there for. And the time was getting short, so we drove from Perth back to the East Coast in about 10 days. Whilst doing that, we pulled into a little town near Cobar, and I decided after not being at work for 6 months, it'd be a great idea to buy a project vehicle. Now you can imagine what Megan thought about that. I'm still married, but yeah, she's a special woman, I tell you. That kicked off Smart Touring Systems garage channel, STS Garage, and I'll bring James out now because James is going to be help driving the Jeep. And James is a big part of this because I built Lance, the 1981 HJ47 Land Cruiser, pretty well on my own, and then as that project was finishing, I've known James for a long time. He walked into my shed and he said, I want to be a part of this, and I was just blown away. You better say hello, mate.
I did. How's it going?
Good. Sorry, guys. So me and James got STS Garage going now, and that is really about building, you know, something fun, doing it with basic tools, and trying to make a nice video for you guys to watch as well, which my wife does very well. But those vehicles that we build and work on eventually come out onto our touring channel where we will go and give them a bloody hard time. And it just all fits well together, and I'm so grateful to be standing in front of you guys today doing this. Like I said, it's not something I thought I would ever do, but you better give the Jeep a bit of a rev, James, and warm it up.
Yeah.
You ready to go, mate?
Yeah, ready to go, bud.
Righto, we'll get into this 4x4 demonstration. I hope I haven't bored you guys. It's just a little bit of a background about Smart Touring Systems, who we are, what we're doing, and what we want to keep doing. So we get this four-wheel drive demonstration going now. James is going to loop round up on top of the containers first. And it looks like a kind of a pretty vanilla track, guys, but going up that little hill there, picture yourself on a track. If there are trees lining each side of the track, you sort of have that to guide you. With this sort of track here, where there's nothing on the edges, James really just sees sky. So if you're out, you know, you've got some ruts to negotiate on a real four-wheel drive track, and you've got someone in the passenger seat, get him out and do some spotting. And it's no different here today. I'm going to spot James up this. Over the 5 days we've been doing this, we've got one more day tomorrow. James probably done about 50 laps of this track, so I'm sure he's dreaming about it. But it only takes one thing to go wrong, and then it can go really wrong. And as you've seen Jace Andrews there before, it can go wrong, even for the guys that do it for, you know, been doing it for 17 years. So it's important to take your time and use your spotters when you've got them. So obviously, before James started, he selected first gear low range. And doing things like that before you desperately need to do it is so much easier on the car and the vehicle, and it's so much more controllable. So if you're unsure whether you think you need low range, put it straight in. That's the best answer you can get. The sooner you put it into low range, the better, and it's just so much more controllable and easier on the vehicle. So I'll be honest, I'm not a massive Jeep fan. I'm a Toyota fanboy, I can't help it. Love me Toyota 79 series, but this bloody thing is so capable for what we're doing today. Front and rear live axles, lockers front and rear, sway bar disconnects, and it just eats this track up. So these logs have been really good, they keep moving around, and hopefully we actually get James to drive a really bad line. He tries to get this thing stuck. We can demonstrate the difference between an unlocked and a locked vehicle using the lockers in the Jeep. So I can proudly say that we're also Conqueror ambassadors, and we have a fair bit to do with product testing, which is a fancy way of saying we get to go out and try and break these things. And the Conqueror UEV 440 that we're towing here today is bloody well perfect for this track. You've got really good departure angle, it's a nice short drawbar, airbag suspension, and then coupled with the short wheelbase of the Jeep, or relatively short wheelbase of the Jeep, it makes negotiating things like this, well, it makes our job very easy, to be honest. So as far as four-wheel driving goes, the things you need to worry about for doing things like this is your approach angle as he goes up, and then as he comes over, that'll be your ramp over angle. And the slower you go with things like this, if you do touch on, you know, whatever you're trying to get over, you're not going to do heaps of damage. Just hit everything as nice and slow and controlled as possible. And we've got our departure angle there, and then ramp over angle again with your drawbar. So we'll spot Jamesy off this. So we don't
Yeah,
want
I'm
it
looking,
to
bud.
end up on its lid. We've got 2 more shows to go, so
Looking
there's
good?
still time.
Am I looking good or what?
So one of the other really important things to factor in when you head off-road is tyre pressures. Tyre pressures can make a massive difference, and we still learn the hard way. Some of the videos, one of the last videos we made, I got bogged in the sand, again, towing, and it's just through laziness. You know, you've only got a short section of sand to get through. At the end of the day, it's easier just to lower the pressure straight away, because you end up getting stuck, then you're digging it out, then you're lowering the pressures anyway. So even for negotiating obstacles like this, tyre pressure is very important. I won't lie, this is at full road pressures, but if this was a track where you were heading down a track and you knew you were going to be on it for 20 or 30 kilometres, and you really needed that extra bit of traction, and not only that, it had some nice sharp rocks and things like that in it. You lower your tyre pressures, gives you more traction, your tyres will conform to the terrain, and it really limits the punctures, which is really important. So we'll get up the top of this hill here and help James again. The track is deteriorating on the left-hand side, and if we were to get a bit of rain, I think we'd be in a bit of strife here. So James, you better tell the people, why did you pick purple?
This is what Declan gave me. From
James keeps blaming the people at Jeep for the colour. Secretly, that is really what he was after. Right, we'll get down in amongst these logs again, and we'll pick hopefully a nastier line, and we'll try and get those front and rear lockers into action. You notice James is going very slowly. It's on him if he breaks this thing. It's not on me. You're really looking after it, ain't you, mate? But seriously, guys, this is how you should hit obstacles like this. Nice, slowly, controlled. But you put a big investment into your car and your campers these days. You can get it through some pretty different spots if you just take your time. But seriously, guys. And it's not often you'll go out and try and pick a worse line. Oh, we've lost a bit of traction, and the Jeep's just doing it easy. I think James is going to try and take the Jeep home. And the whole four-wheel drive industry is one of those, it's just gone crazy with, lithium batteries and airbags and independent suspension and articulating hitch. There's so much in it now, but truly do love the challenge of trying to get your camper to that hard to get to place. And all these things do make it easy. So we're only just clearing that. So I mentioned that I'm a bit of a Toyota fanboy. I don't think there's a Toyota ever made that would actually turn around in that, especially not the 79 series. They are dead set hopeless. Turning circle is terrible. So this package size is, just bloody perfect. I might have to buy a Jeep at the end of this too, the way I'm talking. Lovely. So I spoke about low range for going up a hill. Low range is just as important coming back down the hill. If this went on for another 200 or 300 metres, that first gear low range, even in a petrol vehicle, will probably do enough braking for you with that trailer behind that you don't have to touch the brakes of the vehicle. So the brakes are ready to go when you desperately need them. They're not red hot and already worn out. So can you get it stuck this time, mate?
I'm going to try.
You got to try harder, James. We might have to get the sprinklers out for the last show tomorrow. So doing something like this, coming to an obstacle, going hard left or full lock, left or right, is probably one of the hardest things you can do on a four-wheel drive driveline. If you to give it the berries and at full lock, that is really when you start busting CVs. So the slower you can go, the better. When you get stuck, then you use your lockers. If you're still stuck, use your winch. The last thing is just to put the foot down, especially at full lock. Nah, it's too easy, mate. We'll have to talk to him about a harder track next time. But in all seriousness, guys, what we just achieved there would 99% of the time be more than what you do on most tracks with a four drive and a camper. It doesn't look like much, but put that into the context of a track and you'd actually get there and go, oh, should I do this with a trailer? The Jeep and the Conqueror really does nail it. And I really want to thank Brighton Jeep for the loan and obviously Conqueror Campers for letting us use their trailer. And James, you kept it on its wheels, mate. You've done well. Beautifully done. Are we parking it up, mate? Have you had enough? It's up to him. He's kept it on its wheels. That's about the 40th time for that track now. He's done bloody well. Anyway, guys, I'm Adam from Smart Touring Systems. And James, thanks for your time. And I hope you didn't bore you guys too much. And I'm getting better at this. Maybe next time I won't be so shaky. But I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and watch. Thank you.
This year's Victorian Caravan and Camping Supershow has more than ever.
An adventure zone, the RV master stage, a kids zone and the off-grid campground of the future.
Let's get going.
Melbourne Showgrounds, February 21 to 25. Tickets online. Start here, go anywhere.